r/askreddit. What is the most wholesome fact you know? Dogs, when aggressively playing with them, will sneeze to let you know that they are just playing and don't want to hurt you. My dog does that all the time, but he does it when you scratch his tummy and he'll make this half growl half purr noise and roll around. My dog sneezes whenever she's excited, or going out the door, or going for a wee, or a poo, or anything, really. Maybe everything is exciting? In 2002, Kenyan Maasai tribe people donated 14 cows to the US to help with the aftermath of 9/11. It would have been amazing if the US sent them back 28. Cows are sacred to them, so this was a very thoughtful gift from them. Mr. Rogers' mom knitted all the sweaters he wore on TV. Mentioning Mr. Rogers in a thread about wholesomeness is cheating. And since we're cheating anyway, I'll take the opportunity to share his quote. When I was a boy and would see scary things in the news, my mother would always say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. Beavers close the door of their lodges with sticks whenever they go out, and I find it incredibly cute for some reason. Do you think they knock on their neighbors' little doors? Baby beavers look like teeny adult beavers when born. Before you go well-doer, think of all the other animals, birds, humans, dogs, cats, that look similar but not identical to their adult versions. Also, they have whoopee tails. Prisoners in a Canadian World War II war camp were treated so well that when the war ended they didn't want to leave. If you treat the pals better than they get treated by their own side, then they're more likely to surrender. Allied soldiers, who got captured by Rommel's army, reported that they were treated pretty well, compared to other Wehrmacht forces or the Italian army. Just wish that Canada treated their native aborigines at least at the level of powers. You heard that right. That's how much worse Canadian natives were treated. Dolphins will assign other dolphins a sound, kind like a name, and even if the dolphin doesn't know who said its name, it will still respond. Sup kakakakaka? It's even cooler than that. The dolphin's name is called a signature whistle. A dolphin's signature whistle usually fully developed within the first year of life, and rarely changes throughout adulthood. 8. A calf develops its own signature whistle based on the signature whistle of an adult in its pod. The calf does not copy the whistle, instead it uses it as a model. 8. Calves tend to model their signature whistles after those of adult dolphins who they do not spend much time with. 8. This leads to the signature whistles of individual dolphins in the same pod sharing certain characteristics, almost like a family name. When two dolphins meet in the open ocean, they emit their signature whistles to each other. From this they decide whether they are friends or if they should fight or run. So with this information, we know that dolphins can use vocalizations to reference others. And they have a sense of permanence and continuity of others. The question is, do dolphins use vocalizations to reference objects? And will they do so without being taught by a human? The really cool thing is that is the basis of language. Bees sometimes fall asleep on flowers. I saw one today with its big bumblebee bum sticking out of one today and thought it was dead. Around 40 minutes later it woke up and got back to bumblebeing. The people who voiced Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse got married in real life. When Russi Taylor became the voice of Minnie in 1986, she fell in love with Wayne Allwine, who had been voicing Mickey for the past decade. Wedding bells followed. She died recently too. Dogs are the only animals, except primates, including humans, of course, that need eye contact to clearly understand what they're being told. Their evolution is so tightly entangled with humans that they can decode most of our facial expressions. No other animals bred by men can do it as efficiently. Your dog really understands you. Being with their master calms them, brings their blood pressure down, release endorphin in their brains, and put them in a blissful state, much like humans when close to their loved ones. Your dog really loves you. And, apparently, dogs are the only other species that understands pointing. Even apes, in general, do not understand the concept, they just look at the hand. There are instances where individual animals of other species pick up the concept with training, but dogs are the only species that are sort of hardwired to understand it. Over centuries of domestication, dogs have developed the ability to use extra muscles in their faces so they can communicate better with humans, mimicking our facial expression. I now see the speaking dog from YouTube in a completely different light. Human-dog co-evolution is one of the most fascinating things to me. We essentially turned them into dumb, happy versions of their wild ancestors in exchange for making them widespread staples of all our domestic pursuits, and these days, fluffy little freeloaders who never have to hunt a day in their lives. Both humans and dogs experience measurable hormonal responses to members of the other species that they've bonded with. We fucking hijacked each other's endocrine systems. One of the theories on how we developed farming is that by having dogs around as hunting partners doubled as emergency food sources, and we made the logical leap that if we can keep animals for meat rather than going out to find some, we could also cultivate plants the same way. Cats purr at a frequency that can help muscle repair. My cat sits and purrs on my chest when I'm down. I love you and your cat. Take my upvote. Bears appreciate nature. Observers have noticed that when they watch bears, sometimes they'll sit down and stare off into the distance. Nobody could figure out why they were doing this until it was concluded that they probably sit down and stare at the mountains because they are appreciating the view. Sea otters hold hands when they sleep in the water so they don't drift apart. Also, gorillas hum when they eat their favorite food. I'm picturing the last meal of Jesus gorilla in the Planet of the Apes universe humming Misty Mountains Cold from Hobbit's movie while enjoying their favorite food. Every single time you get your eyes checked, you are taking part in an homage from a loving husband to his wife. The guy who invented the eye chart was married to a woman named Evelyn. That's why it starts with the big E at the top. This is an incredibly wholesome useless fact. I love it. Someone, while handling coral, discovered that when shattered, coral will grow back and mature at unprecedented speeds. This discovery has led to the very real hope that the Earth's endangered coral beds can be repaired quickly and efficiently. Underrated comment. This is exciting. Some tarantulas will have little frogs share their dens. The frogs eat insects too small for the adult spiders to catch, protecting the spider's eggs, while the frog is safe from predators. It's sorta like humans keep cats around to catch mice. Fucking metal. Male puppies let female puppies win while play fighting so they don't lose interest in playing. And lions will pretend to be hurt by their playing cubs to encourage the behavior and make big, strong fighters. As do adult dogs. When we adopted another puppy, my adult dog, not related at all, would always let him win fights and always let him take the toys they were having a tug of war over. He just instinctively took over as father. There was a guy who jumped from the Golden Gate Bridge when he was 19 and immediately realized he made a huge mistake. He miraculously survived the fall. Thanks to help from a sea lion, he was kept afloat and it swam around him until he could be rescued. He is now a mental health advocate and has gone on to save who knows how many people from making that same leap. Cows have best friends and worst enemies. A hug lasting the duration of just over 20 seconds per day increases serotonin levels, which in return reduce stress and promote a happier day as a whole. Sometimes, you literally just need a hug. Dogs will hit you with their paws because they're trying to pet you back. That makes me feel better about my dog bitch slapping me. I thought he was just asking for more pets. Gorillas make up cute food songs and sing louder for the food they prefer. It's been recorded that elephants' brains react in a similar way when looking at us that we do when looking at puppies. They think we're cute. Horned lizards squirt blood out of their eyes when threatened. Edit. Punctuation. My dog went years never doing the cute little mouth closed tongue out blep. One day she did it on accident and I giggled like a little schoolgirl and just got so happy. She did it again a few days later and got the same reaction from me. She now bleps multiple times a day and I'm damn near 100% positive she does it to make me happy. My dog never does this cause she likes for me to suffer. In the US at least, we are living in a time with the lowest crime rate in our nation's history. Sure doesn't sound like it from the news. Parrots actually can't be trained with negative reinforcement. I'm pretty sure that's the term. If they are abused or hurt, they will simply bite and try to fly away. So if you see any performing birds, you can almost entirely be sure that that little friend is having fun. Samoyed makes for terrible guard dog due to their friendly upbringing. They don't attack threats, Just kind of smile and bark at them. Most dogs don't attack. The problem with Samoyeds is that they would go up and lick the intruder's face before tucking into whatever treats they've been given to distract them. If you were about to rob a house and a dog came up to you and started licking, you would still rob the house or play with the dog? The overview effect. When astronauts see Earth from space, their perspective changes. Borders disappear as they see our planet is a tiny lone orb, but a wealth of life. They want the world to set aside their differences and unite. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. I know Carl Sagan wasn't an astronaut, but I think it fits. Sometimes squirrel mamas will adopt other random baby squirrels who happen to fall out of their tree or home. That's very nice, though yesterday a squirrel carried a dead rat directly past me up my Brooklyn fire escape onto the roof, where he proceeded to eat the carcass. Babies who have been neglected or stressed have less developed brains due to synaptic pruning. Loving them and cuddling them and keeping them safe and happy can help to rewire their brains. Love the hurt out. Spiders have paws like cats. My fear of spiders vanished after learning that. They also have fangs like cats. Was reading a memoir by World War I German flying ace named Rudolf Stark called Wings of War. In one part he writes about a dogfight he had with an Englishman at evening during the summer of 1918. They meet and then dueled. He says that the fight lasted for several minutes, them trying to get at each other's tail. Eventually, though, they stopped and realized that both of them aren't getting much chance in striking. They decided to just spend a few minutes flying side by side enjoying the sunset. They waved and flew back in their respected lines. Owning pets can help lower blood pressure, decrease stress and helps people socialize. Your dog loves you more than anything in the world and has no greater goal in life than to be with you and spend time together. What could be more pure than that? Nothing. Maybe not the most, but I've always heard about only a few animals are monogamous. There are a ton of animals that mate for life. That's pretty wholesome in my book. Not all animals are happy or just total sex addicts. Lots of species really do bond for life. The sad part is in many species they end up depressed and dying if the partner dies. Dogs recognize that we are different but still see us as family. There's also evidence to suggest that it was wolves who first approached early humans, not the other way round. They chose us. It's believed that cats sometimes leave dead or half-dead mice and such for their owners to find because they see us as their family, not unlike their kittens, and feel responsible for teaching us to hunt and provide for ourselves. My cats, however, were fat ineffectual assholes with no regard for human survival. Just as human babies will suck their thumbs, baby elephants will suck their trunks. Corgis were the preferred steed of fairies in Irish mythology. During the Austro-Prussian War of 1866, the Kingdom of Liechtenstein sent 80 men off to fight. Along the way, they met an Austrian officer who liked them so much that he decided to join their ranks, and the Liechtenstein force came home with 81 men. Giving someone compliments and making their day better, even smiling at them makes them feel better, and you with it. A simple spell, but quite unbreakable. Dogs and creepers don't attack each other. Australia has the highest recycling rate at 63%. The earliest cat to have a name was named Nejum, with means sweet or pleasant. Well, I know that my dad loves me and that's enough to make me happy. That Mr. Rogers would narrate that he was feeding his fish because he had a blind girl send him a letter that she was worried he wasn't feeding the fish because she couldn't see that he was. Rats laugh when tickled, though it takes special instruments to hear the laughter. Also, rats are empathetic enough to help save a fellow rat that is in distress, even going so far as to forego taking chocolate, their favorite treat, to save the other rat instead. In some tests the rescuing rat would set the chocolate aside and then share it with the rescued one afterward. Rats are the best. Dogs have an almost immediate instinct to help cheer up someone who's crying. One of the many reasons why they make such good service animals. Also, Samoyeds are strongly discouraged from being guard dogs because they are just so friendly and sweet. When puppies are taken to new homes, they sleep a ton the first few days. It's because the changes are so stressful for them. But then they start to perk up and come out of their shells. I tell my friends to be a puppy when they're stressed. Sleeping will help you adjust to changes. Source: veterinarian friend. There comes a time where you pick up your child for the last time and never know it will be the last time. What makes this wholesome is that those who understand this fact will enjoy those moments more and more the older their kids get, because they know the last time could be any day. Every time I read this tidbit, I go up to my teenager and tell her I need to pick her up one more time. She rolls her eyes, but lets me. The head bonking that cats do is called bunting. When a dog is doing that kind of hushed panting noise while playing with you, that is your dog's laughter. Also, when they fetch the toy but won't let you have it to throw again, this is their version of when we fake throw the ball. Fear playing a trick on you. A bunch of doctors were subjected to an A/B test. The clinics they were working had two signs posted on the doors leading to the examination rooms, immediately above the wash stations. One sign said wash your hands between examinations. You are less likely to pick up disease from patients. The other sign said wash your hands between examinations. You are less likely to transmit disease to patients. The second sign boosted hand washing 57% greater than the first sign. Doggers exist. Cats have learned to meow to communicate with humans. This thread is a great pick-me-up. At zoos after they give sloths a bath, they hang them up to dry. The pictures. Oh god, the adorable pictures. The fact that the four main atoms in the universe, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon and oxygen, are the very same active atoms in us. So, in the words of Neil deGrasse Tyson, you are not special because you're different from the universe. You are special because you are the same as the universe.